And I don't think there's a better time than to look at Granit Xhaka's goal, his first derby goal, exactly as he said. And we discussed him before the match, didn't we? That his redemption arc is effectively complete now. You score a goal against the biggest rivals your club has, Tottenham.
Attacking midfield player, isn't he? Getting forwards and scoring goals. But I mean, I love Partey's involvement here. Lovely way to pass into the path. I mean, it's all about playing it into that space. But once he gets that onto that left foot, that kind of range, he is clinical. He's got a lovely strike and he just hits it super low and hard into the bottom. That's the pass, really nice pass into the space, but good touch here. And once he's there, beyond that left foot, gets his head down and strikes it lovely.
I have to say, it's really poor defending though. Arsenal just strolled the way through. It's a bit of a practice game there. Strolled the way through Tottenham. No one's laid a glove on anybody for a derby match, and it's a simple goal, but lovely intricate passing.
Yeah. You think that Conte will be reading the riot act to his players, Gary?
Yeah,
right now.
Yeah, he won't be happy at all, that's for sure. And not just because of the result, but I actually thought because of the kind of low energy performance for too much of the game from Spurs. You know, a midfield that really didn't engage, that was overrun by Arsenal. And yeah, I would suggest, you know, Spurs haven't played great this season. They've won games somehow. They've got results. And maybe their position is a little bit false in the table, and this has highlighted it today.
I really agree with that. And I look at the Chelsea game, they showed that grit to come back. They got completely dominated in that match at Stamford Bridge. And then the other ones that they have won, there's been moments in those games where it could have turned. And maybe against stronger opposition, it would have done. And today they met a stronger opposition and they came unstuck.
There's something you also wanted to highlight during this post-show, Matt, and I just saw Granit Xhaka, we all did, get Man of the Match award, duly deserved, but someone else that deserves some credit, another goal scorer, the opening goal scorer, Thomas Partey, and his contribution today, because he was a doubt before the match, let's not forget. Yeah, and we talked about how big a miss he would have been.
He was Man of the Match for me. I thought he was excellent in terms of, obviously the goal contribution's a big deal from a midfield player, a defensive midfield player, but just the simplicity. He was always there, and we spoke about him being that rock, that anchor in the midfield, and allowing Xhaka to go and pick up those positions, allowing Odegaard to go and drift into those roles, knowing that they've got the responsibility of someone like him sat behind them. And I thought today he was excellent. Involvement in a lot of goals in terms of passing in the build-up. We saw him in the mistake by Lloris in that goal from Xhaka, scores one himself. To me, that's a man of the match performance from a midfield player.
Okay, and again, I talked about this. I asked you during the pre-show, keeping him fit though. That will be crucial, don't you think, for the Gunners? We saw the impact he's had here today.
Definitely. It's a big thing they have to try and achieve, whether or not that's manage his minutes, adjust his training schedule, whatever they need to do. I feel they have to keep him fit, ready for occasions like today.
You know, you said about Partey as a defensive midfield player.
Yeah.
You know, he hits the shot, okay, from just outside the box when he scores his goal, with 9 outfield players of Tottenham still in front of him. So, you know, just outside the Tottenham box, he's still in a defensive position, in effect. And I think that's because Spurs just sat too deep. You know, Spurs needed to play with more courage, in my opinion.
Do you think this has also laid down a mark of sorts for Arsenal? Because we discussed this again earlier, that there have been accusations Arsenal maybe had a bit of a gentle run in, but I would argue so have Manchester City. I mean, this weekend's the first time they're really playing someone from the Big Six, and that's Manchester United. I know Arsenal went to Old Trafford and they lost, but you could argue they were unlucky to lose that as well, if you look at all the stats. Today, they were definitely the better team, and the result backed that statement up as well. Real title contenders, do you feel?
I think the standard that they've set, well, they've set themselves a standard now that's really good. I think the question about Arsenal has always been, do they die off towards the end of the season? Come the last third of the season, last quarter of the season, have they got enough strength in depth? You know, we look at Partey today. I think Partey's been a rock today in the team. I think if he gets injured, have they got someone that can replace him and do the role that he's playing? Jesus, I know he's not got the goals. Excuse me. We're expecting him to score, and we're expecting him to get more. But I think his work rate off the ball and the standard he sets from a forward perspective, you know, if he can stay fit, that's another one. And I just wonder whether Arsenal have got this fade off towards the end of the season, and whether they've got enough strength in depth as a squad that they can keep going with the amount of games, because of the World Cup as well, the amount of games are going to pile up, whether they've got that strength in depth.
How excited are you about the Gunners? Because I know the fans are getting very, very excited. And today, they certainly passed a test. And this was a test. There's no question about that.
Big improvements. Big improvements in the mentality. You don't feel as concerned that they're going to fade away and be as vulnerable as what they used to be. We were saying earlier about how much better they've been in terms of defending set plays, not making silly mistakes, being physically a better team. And I think the players that have come in, Partey, Saliba, having Ben White at right back, you've got a bit more physicality in the team that can cope with more situations where they used to come unstuck.
Yeah.
And they're confident, they're playing well with the ball, and why shouldn't they be? They're sitting top of the league.
Do you know who they have next?
Yes, Liverpool.
They do have Liverpool. That's going to be interesting. That is at the Emirates as well. I should add there is a European game in between that before they face the Reds.